What is good, my fellow Chicago Bears fans? And on today's video, I'm going to give you the Justin Fields and the Andy Dalton report from training camp day 15. And we're going to talk about what happened today. We're going to talk about our winners and losers. And we're going to talk about the biggest star from training camp today. But before we can do all of that, I need your guys' help. 93% of you are not subscribed to my channel, and I want to get to 400 subscribers. So please go and hit that red subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. Please go and sack that like button for you to algorithm. Make sure you watch this video all the way to the end, and make sure you hit bell notifications so whenever I post. And let me know in the comments what you thought about today's video. Now, with that all being said, let's jump right in today's video and let's talk about the Justin Fields report. Now, Justin Fields started the game with a warm-up pass to Damon Williamson, and then he was able to find Allen Robinson on a comeback route, and he was able to find David Montgomery on a wheel route in stride, and able to throw a couple of passes to Demarius Byrd. So good to see that those two are having a really great connection. Then once 11 on 11 started, Justin Fields was able to find his favorite target, Jesse James, for a few yards, and then he was able to throw his signature sidearm pass to Jonathan Johnson. And he was able to follow that up by throwing it to Ronnie Adams on stride, and then he followed that up by throwing a perfect ball to Javon Wims, who, you guessed it, dropped it. However, after that, he was able to bounce back and throw an absolute bomb to Ronnie Adams. But after that bomb, that's kind of when the struggles happened for Justin Fields. He had a wobbly pass to Jonathan Johnson that, luckily for him, went outside the end zone, so he escaped a potential interception. But then after that, he had a pass that was batted down by Marquise Christian, intended for Ronnie Adams, and then on 3rd and 15 on a pass intended for Chris Lacey, Justin Fields missed Chris Lacey, and he was intercepted by a diving Marquise Christian. Then on a pass intended for Javon Wims, it was batted down by Kendall Vildor. Then he had another pass that was dropped by Ronnie Adams. However, he was able to bounce back and was able to show his resilience by finding Javon Wims up the middle for a great chunk of yards before throwing another deflected pass, this time by Duke Shelley, intended for Riley Ridley. However, he showed his resilience once again by finding Daz Newsome up the middle for a great chunk of yards. Daz Newsome used his speed to move down the field, and then he was able to throw down the sideline to Marquise Christian and his rep with the first team. Then he ended his practice with 5 key passes, so he threw a nice completion to Ronnie Adams. He then threw a check down to Khalil Herbert that was batted away. He then threw an incompletion to Jesper Horsted, and then he was able to overcome that by throwing 2 amazing passes, a pass down the middle to Javon Wims once again, and then he ended the day with the catch of the day to Jesse Adams, who high pointed that catch and really making himself a candidate for the catch of the day today in training camp. And now let's dive into the Andy Dalton report. Now, Andy Dalton started the day off throwing it to a diving Allen Robinson, who caught his first pass of the day and really making an insane catch in training camp. And then he was able to hit Darnell Mooney on a short pass. He was able to go back to Allen Robinson. Then he was able to follow that up by throwing it back to Allen Robinson and following that up by hitting Darnell Mooney deep. And then he went back to Allen Robinson. And then in a situational period with the Bears down 10-7 with 53 seconds left and no timeouts and the ball on the 40-yard line, he was able to find Darnell Mooney for a quick pass. He then was able to connect with David Montgomery on a quick pass, and then he ended that pass with a quick pass to Cole Kmet, who caught the ball, but it was immediately tackled by Kendall Vildor, so the Bears had to kick it. And then you had Cairo Santos hit a 53-yard field goal. So, not a really great period for Andy Dalton. The fact that they couldn't move past the 40 and get into the red zone. However, luckily for Andy Dalton, Cairo Santos hit the field goal to make the Chicago Bears go 10-10. And then in that situation, the Chicago Bears would go over to overtime. So good for Cairo Santos. And then on 7-on-7, he threw a short pass to Darnell Mooney. He was able to find Marquise Goodman, who darted down the field, and then he threw into double coverage with Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson, both defending the ball intended for a pass to Riley Ridley, and he was picked off by Eddie Jackson. And then he ended his first 7-on-7s with a short pass to Darnell Mooney, a short pass to Damon Williamson, and a flat to Darnell Mooney. And then on another 7-on-7 drill, he had a ball that was tipped by Marquise Christian and then Eddie Jackson picked him off. And then he followed that up by throwing a pass that was out of reach for Marquise Goodwin. So not a great way for Andy Dalton to end his day on 7-on-7s. And then on team drills, he started that off by throwing interception to Eddie Jackson. However, he was able to bounce back again, show some resilience by finding a wide open Darnell Mooney for a touchdown. And then he ended the day by throwing a wide open touchdown to Darnell Mooney, and on a crossing route, he was able to find Darnell Mooney once again, who was covered by Kendall Vildor. Now that we talked about our quarterback reports, let's dive into the winners and our losers. And the first winner is, even though he did struggle, is Justin Fields. I mean, Justin Fields showed an incredible amount of resilience, bouncing back from throwing incompletions, bouncing back from throwing interceptions, and I think that makes him a winner. To see Justin Fields come back, have next play mentality, really makes him a big winner in training camp. He was able... after those 3 incompletions, he was able to throw a dart on 4th down. After a bad ball, he was able to make it up by converting on a 3rd and long. So really great stuff from Justin Fields to show his resilience. And now that we finished our quarterback reports, let's dive into our winners. And the first winner is Justin Fields. And you might be wondering, why is Justin Fields a winner? Well, Justin Fields showed an incredible amount of resilience. And Justin Fields showed that he had that next play mentality. After he threw 3 incompletions, he was able to throw it on a dart on 4th down. And then after a bad ball, he was able to convert on 3rd and long. So to see Justin Fields get that resilience to bounce back is something that really stuck out to me. So great job by Justin Fields. Then our next winner is the defense. I mean, that defense did really, really good. You had guys like Duke Shelley forcing incompletion. You had guys like Kendall Vildor and Marquise Christian forcing turnovers and forcing incompletions. And then you had that defense forcing Andy Dalton to throw only short passes and not allowing anything deep. So really great stuff from that defense, and I was really, really proud of them, and they're our second win. Then our third winner is the running backs. Even though the quarterbacks did not have a really great day, the running backs did come to play. You had guys like Khalil Herbert being patient, and then when he found a hole, he was able to use his speed. You had someone like Artavius Pierce breaking tackles. You had Darren Montgomery being shifty and breaking the defense ankles. So really great stuff from the running backs today. And then you had Jesse James making the catch of the day, and Jesse James has been a really consistent player here in training camp in his first preseason game, and I think he's a big winner from training camp, and he is proving to be a really smart signing by Ryan Pace. And then you had Allen Robinson making 2 diving catches. You had Darnell Mooney catching everything, and also you had Damon Williamson also catching everything. So great stuff from the 2 receivers and also Damon Williamson. And now let's dive into our losers, and our first loser and our biggest loser is Javon Wims. Javon Wims did not have a good preseason game. Today in practice, he missed a beautiful pass from Justin Fields, and the fact that Javon Wims is still on this team over someone like Darius Max really makes me question Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy's decisions, because if I were them, I would cut Javon Wims right now. But then our next loser are the receivers who keep dropping passes from Andy Dalton and from Justin Fields. That's not really good for them, and especially the 2s and the 3s who really let Justin Fields down by not coming down with those catches and not getting enough separation to help Justin Fields, improve. And you had guys like Ronnie Adams miss catches, and you had guys like Riley Ridley also miss catches. So not a great day from the second and the third string receivers. Third loser is Nick Foles. Nick Foles has been pretty underwhelming, and no one talks about him because he's kind of bad. Today threw a brutal overthrow to receive, and this comes after Nick Foles could not get anything done with the third string offense in his first preseason game. So not a great showing by Nick Foles for a guy who's looking to potentially get traded and be that second string quarterback. Not a great day from him. And then our last loser are all these injuries that Chicago Bears have. I mean, you have Trey Robertson, who has a knee injury. You have Tevin Jenkins, who is still injured. You have Roquan Smith with a groin injury. You have James Daniels, who has a quad injury. You have Jermaine Ifedi with a hip flexor. And then you have Larry Borom with a concussion. Not a great day from all these injuries that we're seeing here in training camp. And then let's end this on a positive note and discuss our biggest star. And our biggest star is that defense. That defense came to play, forcing incompletions, forcing turnovers, having a lot of juice. That defense is the biggest winner from today's training camp. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, please go and smash that like button, please. Subscribe if you love my content. Make sure you comment below what you thought about today's video. And with that all being said, guys, I hope you have a great day and bear down.